Life as We Know It with Tom Walton.
A friend of mine was bragging to me recently about his nephew. That boy, he said, is smart as the Dickens. That got me to wondering, who exactly are the Dickens anyway? A family of overachievers? Is it a reference to the mental sharpness of Charles Dickens himself? It's one of those expressions most of us have used at one time or another, although I suspect it's a generational thing and a phrase that my friend's nephew would never use. It could very well fade from the vernacular within a generation or two. So I did a little research to determine the background of the Dickens. Even without the research, we know that the expression is used as an intensifier. You could say the boy is smart, but if you add that he is smart as the Dickens, you mean he is really smart. Doing a little digging, we can report that the word Dickens in this context has nothing whatsoever to do with Charles Dickens. I'm sure Mr. Dickens was quite intelligent and all. No doubt his admirers back in the day had, great expectations for the guy, but he didn't originate the phrase. The earliest reference anyone can find to the use of the word Dickens in literature goes all the way back to Shakespeare's play The Merry Wives of Windsor in 1602. Charles Dickens wasn't even a gleam in his daddy's eye at that point. By most accounts, Dickens is actually a substitute for the word devil, a word that some folks refuse to say for religious reasons. Back in Victorian times, Dickens was considered a polite alternative to acknowledging such evil. In other words, if you hit yourself in the thumb with a hammer, you might yell, "Man, that hurt like the Dickens!" because you don't want to say it hurt like the devil, or it hurt like hell. Personally, if I hit my thumb with a hammer, I'm probably going to let the invectives fly without concern for my faith. While I'm on the subject of the origin of phrases, here's another one I don't get. Why, when we want to express disbelief or frustration, do we say, "Ah, come on"? Taken literally, come on sounds like an invitation to someone who's standing, say, 20 feet away, to come closer, as in come on over or come ahead. But that's not how we use it, is it? In modern use, it has no literal meaning. I was having a friendly conversation with an acquaintance recently about politics, something, incidentally, that is seldom a good idea. The cordial nature of our discussion was refreshing and stimulating, and we were cruising along just fine until my friend made a point I could not accept. "Oh, come on," I responded, incredulous. Later, when I replayed the exchange in my mind, the one thing that jumped out at me was the nonsensical nature of those three words. Instead of saying, "You were wrong," or "That is nonsense," I said, "Oh, come on." There was no literal context, and yet to my friend my reaction was clear and unambiguous. I had expressed with a trace of irritation that my own opinion had differed from his. Well, I'm glad you were with me today. We need to do this again next Monday afternoon. In the meantime, I'm going to miss you like the Dickens. You don't believe me? Oh, come on.
Life as We Know It is written and hosted by Tom Walton and is a production of WGTE Public Media. Life as We Know It with Tom Walton can be heard on WGTE FM 91 every Monday afternoon during All Things Considered at 5:44 p.m. Or hear past episodes at wgte.org/life.